The Sarge is back with another version of Double Dragon, this time for the Atari 2600, which once again, like the 7800 version, the label is very generic. Actually, I think the black background suits it a little bit better, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and take 2600 Double Dragon, pop it into my Pro System, and see how it holds up. Let's go to the game. Double Dragon was published by Activision and carries a copyright year of 1989, which is the same year the Sega Genesis came out. It is based on the popular 1987 arcade game. It is a beat-em-up game for 1 or 2 players simultaneously. Take that, Nintendo! According to the manual, twin brothers Billy and Jimmy Lee, Jimmy Lee, are fighting the Black Warrior Gang to track down their leader, the Shadow Boss, to rescue Billy's kidnapped girlfriend, Marion. Double Dragon has 1 standard mode of difficulty and 3 modes of play: 1 player, 2 player, and a one-on-one fight between Billy and Jimmy. You use the joystick to move your character and the button with the joystick to perform 1 of 4 fighting moves. You punch by pushing right or left and the button. You do a reverse elbow smash by pressing diagonally up in the direction reverse of your opponent and pressing the button. You can kick by pressing diagonally down in the button and jump kick in the direction you are facing by pressing up in the button. You can also pick up weapons including bats, knives, and oil drums by knocking them out of the opponent's hands if they are holding one, standing over it, and pressing the button. You can then press the button to swing the bat or throw the knife or oil drum. The game contains 4 missions. You get 3 lives with a life bar and no continues. You lose a life if your life bar fully depletes or if the timer runs out, but your life bar does refill after each mission. On each screen, you can face up to 2 enemies at the same time, but when there are 2 on the screen, each one can only move in his half of the screen. In a single-player game, you can travel between these 2 fields, but in a 2-player game, each player can only move in his half of the playfield, with the first player on the top half and the second player on the bottom half. Graphically speaking, the game looks pretty decent for a 2600 game with several characters and backgrounds. The music and sounds are identical to the 7800 version and in my opinion sound pretty good on the 2600. Family friendly wise, there is a lot of fighting, including your male character fighting female characters and the ability to use weapons, but there is no blood. On eBay, this game is pretty rare. Loose copies were selling for about $27. 1 complete copy sold for $58, and there was 1 new copy that sold for $84, and those prices include the shipping. So what did I think of Double Dragon on the 2600? Well, I found it both frustrating and impressive at the same time. The fact that you have a port of this game with multiple characters, bosses, and 4 missions is pretty impressive for a 2600 title. However, cramming the controls into a single button joystick seemed to be too much, making fighting a chore. And without mastering them, this game is incredibly hard. For instance, the first time I turned it on, I quickly lost my lives before defeating the first 2 enemies. Even the lowest of enemies will crush you if you try to play it like a regular beat-em-up. Similar to the 7800 port, it seems that you have to master spamming a move like the elbow smash to make serious progress in this game. I like beat-em-up games and it was interesting to play for a little bit, but odds are I won't be returning to this one anytime soon. Perhaps if they toned down the difficulty, I would have enjoyed it more. So where am I going to rank Double Dragon? Well, I'd rather play Real Sport Soccer at 49, which controls much better, but at 50 I have Gangster Alley, aka Task Force, which was much easier to control, but not a lot of fun to play. So I'm going to put Double Dragon just ahead of it, making it my new number 50 ranked game on the system. Double Dragon on the 2600 has some interesting elements, but it's too much of a chore to play with a single button joystick. If you enjoy retro-related videos, would you please click the like and subscribe buttons. I'm also a member of the Retro Junkies Network. You can find more retro podcasts and videos at theretrojunkies.com. Thank you for giving me a little part of your day, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the next episode of The Nose for a Gamer. Take care and keep practicing your elbow smash.